This is test number 7 for knights. The level is 2000 to 2200 and it's white to move. Now, just wanted to say that I actually, going through this book, I haven't been doing these puzzles because I'm just trying to put all this material online. It's up to you whether or not you want to do the puzzles. Sometimes they're too difficult, and it's just better, in sake of having fun and learning, to just go through the answers. So it's totally up to you. So I'm not going through. I'm making a guess for what I think the right answer is, but I'm just going through and not spending more than a few seconds trying to guess what the right plan is. Okay, so now white. It's white to move. Pause it here if you want to try to solve it. Okay, so once again we're going to go through the moves of the game. So this is Z Jean versus B Larson, Veterans versus Women, 1994, white to move. Okay. So this position is known to be in white's favor thanks to the two holes on B6 and D6, here and here. By now, whenever you see a hole, I would expect you to ask, can I get a knight there? And after some reflection, you might notice that if a knight could reach C4, then both holes would be accessible. Thus, knight D2 suggests itself. However, one must also take note of what the opponent intends, and this leads us, if we play knight D2 immediately, to knight C5. We allowed it. Queen C4, B6, bishop takes, knight to B3, knight to D7 with bishop A6 to follow. When black is fine. Clearly, white needs to demonstrate a bit of subtlety, though you can be very proud of yourself if you notice the knight F3 to D2 to C4 maneuver. Great, I can be proud of myself. Okay, so the move that's played first is Queen C4. Exclam. Black's knight C5 is prevented. Rook E8. Rook F2. What I calculated was something like Queen D3. Knight D2 was Rook D8. I thought that was good, and then Knight C4 would be met by Knight C5. So I thought, yeah, actually I hadn't thought this very far out because this is a problem. So Queen C4, Rook E8, Rook FD1, H6. I've played a lot of these structures for black with the hole on D6, and it's not a lot of fun when the opponent can take advantage of those squares. Queen B4 has also been tried. So this is only move 13 for black. Queen B4 has also been tried. Gary Lane then gives knight G5, Rook F8, because black was facing a threat on F7. B3. I think Queen A2 might offer even some more. H6. Sorry, H6, knight F3, knight takes E4, knight takes... Oh, I'm sorry. This line was for Queen A2. Queen A2, H6, knight F3, knight takes E4, takes, queen takes, bishop D3, Queen D5, bishop C4, Queen E4 to D6, knight F6, and now both bishop takes F7 check, exclaim, question mark, and bishop takes h6 are promising. Let's see. So bishop takes h6 works because the knight here hangs. And if bishop takes, and we have rook takes, and check. Let's see. Check here. Bishop takes h6, and the rook is pinned, so the bishop's not being defended. This is really unclear, or maybe it's clearly winning, because if the king moves, then check. So it seems hard to figure out how black can save themselves here, and I don't think they can. Maybe this. But actually, no. White is definitely going to win here because there's yeah, this is just decisive. So okay. So that was interesting. Okay, so instead of queen a2, we have the main move b3, then h6, knight f3, queen takes c4, bishop takes c4 with an edge. Okay, this isn't really as instructive as the game will actually be. So that was a variation, and now we're gonna look at a how white gains an advantage by taking control of the b6 square. So h6 was played in this position instead of queen b4, which was what we just looked at. Okay, so after h6, white plays knight to d2. It's interesting because Selman will put this analysis in, and it's only after he's already looked at the main line and seeing what happens. So it's easier to analyze the alternatives, but when you haven't seen the main moves, it's kind of harder to put it in your mind as part of your framework, but it's still useful to analyze everything. Okay, so knight d2, intending to move the queen to b3 and then toss the knight to c4, when the rabbit horse will hit a5, b6, d6, and e5. So this knight on c4 will hit the a5 square, b6, d6, and e5. Okay, knight h7. Bishop f8 with the idea of queen b4 is also possible. So moving the bishop here and then the queen here. Okay. Queen b3, knight to g5. Knight c5, question mark, exclaim. Knight e6 is better. But rook d2 still leaves white with a small edge. So moving that knight gives up the b6 square, so that might be why it's bad. So knight takes will lose a piece. White finds another instructive knight move. Knight to b1. I love these knight retreats. A very nice move. This knight didn't have a future on c3. Both b5 and d5 are covered, so it heads to c4. So yeah, sorry that I can't use arrows and stuff. I know there's an arrow here, but just try to follow my mouse. Okay. Via a3 or d2. Where it will join the fight for b6 and d6. Also note that the retreat of the knight makes c2, c3 possible, taking the d4 square away from black's pieces. The finish is quite nice. So trading one advantage, active knight, for another advantage, which is an active rook. So f takes, because if king takes, then mate. Okay, so g4, 1-0, exclaim. There's no good defense to the threat of rook 1 to d3 to f3, which is checkmate. So this is a cool game. So we saw just one small advantage translate into winning the game, which was getting the knight to b6 led to white to be able to infiltrate in the position. See how they also this blocking of this pawn prevented black from developing, and they were able to use that time to double on the d file, and then tactics come after you make good positional moves.